What if I said to you that we live life rather mindlessly every day? Do you accept that to be true? Yes, cognitive researchers, based on their studies, suggest that we actually do live life rather mindlessly every day. That we don't often think about the things that we're doing, right? Now, they also say this, that in the way that we use our brain, we can only truly concentrate and focus on one task at a time. Now, if we can only truly concentrate and focus on one task at a time, that begs the question, how do we multitask? How is it that we're able to do many things at one time or multiple things at one time if we can only concentrate on one thing at a time? How do we do it? We don't do anything well? That's possible. We switch back and forth, we toggle back and forth, we do that too, but that's not the most efficient way. In fact, our brain is a thing of efficiency. It helps us to be efficient so we can survive our environment. Just think back thousands of years ago, if we're not very efficient, we don't make decisions very quickly, what happens to us? Yeah, we either don't get lunch or we are lunch, okay? And so our brain helps us to be very efficient. Well, we can do things without thinking about them if we've done them over and over and over and over again, right? It becomes routine, automatic, okay? So if my brain catches me doing something over and over and over and over and over again, it says, Steve, every time you do this thing, you have to think about it. You have to put a lot of cognitive energy into doing it. It says, since you do it so much, that's pretty inefficient. He says, my job is to make you more efficient. What I'm going to do for you, Steve, is I'm going to write for you a cognitive script for that thing that you do, so that when you step into that scene again later, I'll just pull out the script, I'll run it for you, and you don't have to think about it. We have these scripts. You can think of a high-level script in your brain that you're born with as one that says heart beat. How many of you have to think about your heart beating to make it beat? None, right? Right? So we have these scripts that we're born with. Other scripts we acquire along the way by doing things over and over and over again. Okay? Let me share with you some of the scripts that I've acquired along the way, and I think they'll resonate with you. I have this script for when I take a shower in the morning. When I take a shower in the morning, I wash my hair first, my body second. Hair first, body second. Step one, step two. That's the way I've been doing it ever since I've taken showers. About 5 years now, right? How many of you do it that way? You wash your hair first, your head first, and your body second. Okay, raise your hand, okay? I think lots of us do it that way. But see, sometimes when I'm taking a shower in the morning and I'm busy thinking about all the things I need to do that day, and then I catch myself washing my body, what do you think I think next? Did I wash my hair? Exactly. How many of you have asked that question in the shower before, right? And what do we end up doing? Well, we didn't know that we washed it again because we didn't know that we washed it the first time, right? So we end up washing it mindfully to make sure that we've washed it at least once. Now, in the process of washing it mindfully, how do we know that we are washing it for the second time? What's the empirical evidence that tells us that we're washing it for the second time? Yeah, there's more suds, there's more bubbles, there's more lather, right? See, I'm a real shower researcher. I do real shower research. I just don't sit up in that white ivory tower and think about shower research. I actually do it, okay? So if you do that, you'll know you're washing it for the second time. See, mindlessness and cognitive scripts, those are the phenomena behind the question, did I wash my hair? They're also the phenomena behind other questions we ask every single day. Like, did I close the garage door? Did I turn off the light? Did I unplug the curling iron? How many of you take prescription medicines for anything? Right? For those of you who've taken prescription medicines, how many times have you done this? You've taken your pill, and about 15 minutes later you go, crap, did I take my pill? How many of you have ever done that, right? Yeah. See, that's why they make those boxes for us that say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Right? We have a bunch of these scripts that help us run our daily life, right? We have a bunch of these scripts. I did this the other day. How many have ever done this? I went to a restaurant the other day. I ordered some food. The wait person brought back the food, and she said, here's your meal. Have a good dinner. And I said, thank you. You too. You ever do that and go, crap, why did I say you too? She's not going to have dinner now, right? Right? We all have this politeness script. We're taught this politeness script in our society. When you see people you know, what's generally the first few things you say to them? Hi, how are you doing, right? Hi, how are you doing? Hi, what's up? Hi, how are you doing, right? But oftentimes when we say, hi, how are you doing? We really don't care how they're doing, do we? Right? We really don't care. Right? And when people ask us, hi, how we're doing, well, what do we say back? Fine. So you know the script. It's fine or good. It's either fine or good. What would break us out of our mindlessness is if we asked someone how they were doing and they actually stopped and told us how they were doing. And then we would get mad at them because they stopped and told us how they were doing. Because we really didn't want to know in the first place. We didn't want to know about their nephew's baseball game. We like drive-by greetings. Hi, how are you doing? Hi, how are you doing? Hi, I don't really care, don't care. How are you doing? Hi, right? We really don't care. How many of you have done this with respect to that particular type of a script? How many times have you asked someone how they were doing, and they'll say, fine, and they'll say, how are you doing? And you'll say, fine, how are you doing? Again, right? Ever done that? We have scripts that engage other scripts. How many of you ever done this? You drive down the road for long stretches of time. Just miles and miles and miles of highway go by. You could be driving for hours and just miles and miles, just driving, going along, lots of pavement, and all of a sudden you go, oh, geez, I'm driving. Ever do that? Ever do that? That's called mindless driving, okay? That's why they have those rumble strips on the side of the road, okay? That's why NHTSA produces those rumble strips, because they're not there for people to fall asleep. They're there because very few people actually fall asleep when they drive, but everybody drives in a trance-like state. We mindlessly drive, and we're able to mindlessly drive because we have a little script in our brain that says, if you stay in between the lines and away from other cars, you'll be relatively safe, okay? It's that little script that allows us to talk on the cell phone while we drive. Some of us eat while we drive. Some of us put on makeup while we drive. How many of you have seen people read while they drive? Yeah. I think all of us have. Isn't it amazing we don't have more accidents than we actually do? Which tells us what about our cognitive scripts? They're pretty good, aren't they? They're pretty good. They're pretty good, okay? My last example is this. I have a little script for when I talk on the cell phone. Because I travel so much, I'm often talking on the cell phone with my wife. I'll talk to my wife multiple times a day, and I have a little script for ending the conversation. To end the conversation, I'll just basically say, bye, love ya. Bye, love you. That's my script for ending the conversation with my wife on the cell phone, right? Well, the other day I was talking on the cell phone. But I wasn't talking with my wife, right? I was talking on the phone with a colleague of mine at Stanford University, a female colleague of mine. We were talking for a while, and I ended up with all I had to say, and then I said, bye, love ya. And there was silence on the other end of the line, just complete silence. And then her script kicked in. You know what her script said? Yeah, bye, love you too. See, in a mindless mode, we don't think about the things we're doing, which also means we don't think about the consequences of the things that we're doing, right? Some unintended outcomes, unintentional